Hi, I'm Jim Owen, and I'm attending a diversity conference here at the Hyatt. And one of the things that we talked about is that diversity is much more than just the color of your skin or your religion. There's many forms of diversity as far as economic and even emotional. My daughter unfortunately had to have a liver transplant that went horribly wrong, and we spent a year in Ronald McDonald living, and which we thought was at first was going to be something we just stayed for a few days, but we found that we not only was it a nice place to stay and very close to the hospital, but it became a community and even a family. That we found that the emotional needs that they of people who knew you and knew your situation because they were in much the same situation was just invaluable. It comes to the point where you trade what your child was going to testing was going to happen that morning or that day, and then if you didn't come back at a reasonable time, people would actually wait up and communicate, and that was invaluable. And we found that the support of the community was invaluable there, because people would come over and cook meals for you, and it doesn't really sound like that's a big deal because they do have kitchens there, but the support of the community was paramount, because sometimes you come in after a very long and disastrous day, and the last thing you feel like is going shopping and cooking your meals. And so where it sounds like it's a small thing, it's actually quite important and quite supportive. And these are the things that people don't understand, is if you have a long hospitalization for any loved one, is it not only is it's emotional, but it's emotional to not just the parents but the other children. So it's a family event, and it's also very financially impacting. You don't think about it, but for our sake, we had our own business that we eventually had to stop because with her spending up to 2 years in the hospital, it was just too emotional for one person and psychologically difficult for one person to stay there and support, so we had to swap back and forth. After 2 years, we were merely $170,000 in debt. Now, one of the things that we have done is we try and talk to people now and let them know that although they may not think they need to do fundraising before a major event, maybe that's not such a bad idea, or at least investigate things that can help financially. We are down to on our own down to 60,000, and we think that we've done quite good on that, but it is not been an easy journey. But at the same time, we really want to say thank you to all the people that supported us through Ronald McDonald and all the other social programs. Sometimes you think of the person who just hands out games and movies in the hospital, that's really not much of a service. And yet, if you really need that distraction, it certainly is. And if not only that, is the 10 minutes of kind conversation that they give you is also invaluable. So much, a hug can be worth so much. You cannot put a dollar value on hugs, but sometimes if you didn't get that hug, you're just not sure what you would do for that day. If you didn't get support from other parents that kids were doing the same thing, you cannot. In our case, our daughter went to Picadome Elementary, and after the transplant, her liver transplant that went horribly wrong, we were kind enough, the principal, Darla Sims, and her teacher actually drove 2 hours up to Cincinnati during the middle of the day, their school day, and sat with us because they knew we didn't have any family and any friends around. And to have someone so kind in the middle of their workday to think of someone else who they barely knew for only 3 months probably made a major impact on our mental survival of the situation. So whenever you're seeing people, remember that it's just not, that are going through stress and such. Remember that your support, even a smile and a hug, can be invaluable, and ask them if there's any way they can help. A meal sometimes can really help them get through a difficult period. So thank you all, and remember, we're here to help each other, but the best reward is a nice smile from someone and a thank you.